Hey guys, welcome to the garden. We are going to be direct sowing some seeds today. I'm kind of in between rainstorms. It rained here this morning. It's supposed to rain again tonight, and then on and off storms tomorrow. So what a perfect time to direct sow some seeds so we don't have to water them in. If you've been here for a minute or so, you'll know that I hate watering. So anytime I can do anything and not have to water something, I'm gonna do it. And I use a sprinkler to water like the main garden. So it's not like I even have to do that much, but I don't know. Something I just don't like. Everybody has a thing they don't like doing in the garden. Mine is watering. And so to avoid that, we are going to put these in between rainstorms. I have stuff to go in the ground, I have stuff to go in the beds, and I have stuff to go elsewhere also. So I'll show you all the places they're going, and we'll get the rest of the garden in. I do have all of the started plants that I did for this spring in the ground, or in the beds, which is very exciting. The peppers are in, the herbs are in, the flowers are in. Everything from the greenhouse is in. So that's awesome. This is the only thing I have left. I'm gonna go through here and show you what I'm gonna be direct sowing, and then we will get to work. I'm gonna be doing a couple types of watermelons this year. Last year, no, I think it was 2 years ago, I grew a rattlesnake watermelon, which is what these are, and it was 25 pounds, and I was so proud of it. It is probably like the coolest thing I've ever grown. It was so good. I brought it to a pool party, and it was delicious. It grew one watermelon, which I feel like that's pretty normal for watermelons. I don't really know. So I'm gonna do more rattlesnake watermelon seeds. These are actually the seeds I saved from that watermelon. And then I'm gonna try, again, I tried these last year and they got, the plant didn't make it. It's the Moon and Stars watermelon. I'm gonna try this again. So that's exciting. I'm also gonna be doing some honey boat squash. So this is a delicata squash, and it says, sweet as honey, this perfect portion delicata is a chef's delight. So I don't know, this is a new type of delicata for me. I got this from Botanical Interest. I thought it looked good, so we're going to try that. And this, I don't know where I'm going to put this. I may put it on an arch. I did honey nut squash on an arch last year, and it worked out really well, so I may do this on an arch as well. Speaking of squash, I'm going to do a few summer squash. I have this Burpee's Golden Zucchini. That's pretty good. I have a few of these golden scallop seeds left, and we just have the standby regular dark green zucchini, and then my all-time favorite, the cube of butter for summer squash. So that's what we're doing there. I'm gonna do two varieties of cantaloupes. I have a sugar cube and an Athena, and one of you guys actually sent me these seeds when I did my seed swap a few years ago. I don't remember who it was, but if you sent me these little packs, I'm still using them. Thank you very much. And then we move on to cucumbers. I'm doing Muncher, which is one of my faves. Salt and pepper, these are amazing. This is a new one for me this year. It's called Marketer. And then I'm doing my Green Dragon burpless cucumbers. These are really good. They're like an English cucumber you buy at the store, like the long ones. These are really good. I hate these seed packets because they open from the bottom, so that's why I had to hold it kind of weird. But yes. And then we move on to beans, and I have so many bean seeds. That's like my weakness, is buying bean seeds. Why? Don't know. But it is. So again, I bought more beans. These are from Botanical Interest. These are called French Fillet. These are a bush bean. These are a pole bean called Emirate. These are a bush bean called Canter. This is a good one. I've grown this one before. I'm gonna do some Christmas lima beans. These are a pole bean. Roma 2 beans. These are a bush bean. I don't know if I'll do these. We'll see how far I get with the other seeds. Let's see. These are Ideal Market pole beans. And then I'm just gonna do some black pole beans. So these and the lima beans are gonna go in an alternate area, which I will show you in just a minute. So that's what we're planting. Some of these things are going in the ground. The watermelons and the cantaloupes I'm gonna do in the ground. So I will have to get my torch out and poke some holes in the fabric. And I'll show you how I do that because it's super easy. I love this method because it gives you the flexibility to plant where you want without having to worry about weeds as bad, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and do the in-ground stuff and then we'll move into the beds. Okay, so this area kind of here is where I'm going to be doing my in-ground watermelons this year. And I use this woven plastic ground cover in my garden. I love this stuff. I recommend it to everyone because it works extremely well if you do it correctly. So the key when you're using this stuff is to keep it clean, which as you look around, you'll note mine is not. This is a do as I say, not as I do situation. So keep it clean. Keep the seams either overlapped or covered. What I also do is you'll see in some areas you can kind of see it looks like it's been taped. It's because it has. I use a Gorilla Tape that's like all-weather Gorilla Tape. I started doing this last year and it works so well. It doesn't come apart like duct tape does when it gets cold. I tape my seams if I need to, and I tape over any holes. So what I did is I accidentally taped over the holes I was using for my stuff that grows on the ground. So now I have to remake them. So this is how I do that. This is just a can of propane. And this is a little torch thing. If you've never used one of these before, it's suggested that you take this apart when you're not using it. And you just buy these at Lowe's. My stepdad gave me this and a tank. I used what was in it and then was like, I don't know where to get the little propane. You just get it at Lowe's. This is the one for like camping. You don't have to use like the tall skinny one. You can use this, and it's like two of these, it's like 10 bucks. I've been using this same one. I bought this last year, the same set of two, and I'm still using the one. I haven't even used the other one. So you take the little lid off, there's a little hole in here, and then there's this. You just kind of shove them together and then twist, and it attaches itself. So you twist it until it's tight, and then you have your torch. And then on here there's a little knob, and it has like an arrow that says open or off. Mine says off. So you twist it and you'll hear the propane come out. I don't know if you can hear that. And then you just pull this and you get fire. So then all you do when you need to burn your fabric is you just pick where you want to go and you make a hole like that. Now, could you see that? I don't know. I'm going to do another one though. I'm going to do another one, I think, like here. Can you see this? You should be able to. Okay. So you literally just go like that and it makes a hole. Now, when you're done, you just twist it, it turns off, and it probably will still be on fire. It may be clear though. So you can either blow it until it stops, or you can just kind of let it sit and it'll eventually put itself out. So now it's out. So that's how you do that. You just burn your holes. Typically, like I know there's nothing under here because I can feel that there's no grass or anything under here. But if I'm making a new bed, like when I did my onion bed, I did have the hose nearby just in case, because sometimes if there is like dead grass or like dried leaves underneath, that's obviously a fire risk. So just be careful. But otherwise, this is like the perfect thing to use with this stuff. It seals the edges so it doesn't fray. And when you're done and if you don't want that hole anymore, you just tape over it. And it's like it was never there. It's amazing and I love it. So let's plant some seeds. Where did I put them? They're over here. So in these holes, I need my dibber. In these holes, I'm putting watermelons, and I'm gonna use my dibber. This is a dibber, or if I've heard it called a dauber. I don't know. I call it a dibber. This one's plastic. You can get them that are metal, but this is just, somebody gave me this, and it works perfectly fine. So all I'm gonna do is, I'm probably gonna put, how old are these? Probably gonna put 2 in a hole, just so I'd rather sacrifice one plant than not have a plant, you know? So when you plant seeds, you want to plant them twice as deep as they are wide. So these seeds look like this. So we're gonna plant these about 1 inch deep because they are a little bit bigger. Some seeds are gonna be smaller, so you're not gonna plant them as deep. So let me show you how I do that. All right, so this is where I'm gonna do my Moon and Stars watermelon. So I'm just gonna take my dibber. This one actually has measurements on it so you can see how deep you're going. I don't usually worry about that, but you can if you feel like you need to. So I'm gonna do kind of a larger hole because I'm gonna do 2 of these in here. I don't really want them to come up right on top of each other. And I'm just gonna drop my 2 seeds down in here, and then just kind of push some of that soil back on top. I'm not gonna pack it down necessarily because I don't want it to be too hard for the seeds to come up. But yeah, that's how you direct sow a watermelon seed or 2 into your garden. So we're gonna do the same thing over here, and you're gonna ignore my weeds and you're gonna ignore my mess, and you're gonna say, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. So again, I'm just gonna go kind of dig me a little hole, and I'm gonna put 2 of these seeds in here. And then I'm just gonna kind of lightly cover them up. I'm not packing it down real hard, but I don't want it to blow away. So while I'm doing in-ground stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and put my cantaloupes in. So I'm gonna put my cantaloupes kind of over here in this area. So I gotta burn some more holes and get these in the ground. This piece of ground cover is really loose. So I need to tape this down, but it'll be fine. So let's get us some fire. There we go. Like I said, that's literally all you have to do. Sometimes you have to kind of put the fire out, but okay, there's our holes. So again, I'm just gonna poke a hole. And these seeds aren't as big as the watermelon, so we're not gonna do these as deep as the watermelons. This is the Athena. I'm gonna do 2 of these as well. And this one is called Sugar Cube. I love cantaloupe. It is one of my favorite fruits. It's one of my favorite foods just in general. I really love cantaloupe. It's something that we just always had growing up. And to this day, just love it. All right, cantaloupes are planted. Okay, hello and welcome to my fence. So we're not in the garden anymore. The garden is actually over there. So I'm actually in the landscaping of my backyard, underneath one of my dogwood trees that I love. And I put a cattle panel back here, you'll note, and I'm gonna put these lima beans and these black beans back here. I'm gonna plant these. These are drying beans. So these are beans that you leave on the plant until they're dry, and then you pick them and you have dry beans. You can, I think, harvest these when they're not dry. Okay, yeah, it says you can eat these fresh and dry. And now I'm seeing that these black beans are bush beans. No, it says 6-foot vine. Okay, anyway, that's me not reading the packet before now. So these are both pole beans. I put this panel up back here. This is a 16-foot long cattle panel. My friend gave me 3 cattle panels when she moved. This is one of them. I'm gonna plant these beans back here and just kind of leave them. So this area I cleared some of it out. This is an area I'm trying to work on this year. This is kind of going to be one of my project areas for the year. Let me kind of back up and see if you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Yep. So you can kind of see there's just kind of a lot of nothing over here right now. There are things here. This is a perennial, I think it's some type of mum, or maybe it's a hardy geranium. I don't really know. I did plant some creeping thyme in here in a couple spots. There's some right here. There's a big patch kind of right here, and it's doing fabulous. That was something that I did to kind of remediate some issues we were having over here, and we are still having. I have Virginia creeper, which, if you know what Virginia creeper is, you're going to say, oh, I'm sorry. It's an invasive species here in Indiana where I am. And it grows, it's this back here. It grows up the fence. I think you can probably see it over there. And it is an invasive vine. So it takes over and it chokes things out and it kills them. So that's something that I've been dealing with for 5 years now, because we lived here for 5 years this summer, and I'm getting a good handle on it. It is a lot of work. It's a work in progress. It grows on kind of like a woody vine, and so you can't just pull it out. You have to kind of cut it out and then treat it, which I do. And so it's getting there. But my goal for this year is to really work on this area. And one of those ways I'm going to be doing that is by putting some beans in here. Beans are a great way to kind of break up soil. I do have really compact soil back here. So these beans will help kind of break that up. And they also are a nitrogen fixer. Not that that's like a problem back here necessarily, but I'm gonna plant some beans. Also, I just really wanted to have some dry beans planted, but I didn't really want to take up space in the raised bed garden. So I thought, this will work. So that's what we're gonna do. So I got my dibber. I'm just gonna go bloop, 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 a bunch of holes all the way down. This is a 16-foot panel, so we're gonna do a 16-foot row of beans. I am gonna plant these pretty close together, probably only about, I don't know, 3 inches apart. What's it say on the thing? Plant spacing is 4 inches. So I'll probably not do 4 inches. I'll probably do like 3. And that way I can have like a dense planting of pole beans. So let's get to it. Okay, so I got it about half planted. I ran out of beans. I didn't realize I only had like 7 of these left. So I will go in and find some more beans. I think I have just like a bag of black beans in the house somewhere. So I may just open that up. Actually, I don't know. I'll have to go dig around and see what I have. So for now, I'm gonna call this area done until I go dig through my beans and see what I got. So we're gonna go back over to the raised bed garden and plant some stuff over there. So what I have left out here is my honeyboat squash. That's winter squash. I have my summer squash, I have cucumbers, and I have more beans. So I think I'm just gonna do a time lapse of this, and then when I get done, I'll kind of show you where I put stuff, because I don't know where I'm putting stuff yet. So let's do it. All right, everything is in. I officially emptied a pack of beans. And I got everything else planted. So that's exciting. I will take you around and show you where I put everything. Will I remember? Questionable, even though I just did it. That's the lovely thing about being in my brain. So as we start off here, in this bed right here, I put some bush beans, kind of filled in this space right here. And then as we go around here on this archway, I did pole beans on this side, this whole side. Over here, I did some cucumbers and some pole beans kind of on this side. Don't ask me what kind. I don't remember. I think salt and pepper, but I could be wrong. Anyway, moving over here, I did put some thing here. I think cucumbers here on this arch, and then over here on this side I did pole beans because I have a tomato here. And then over here, I think kind of right there, I stuck a few bush beans. And then over here I did my honey boat squash and cucumbers. And then cucumbers. This is summer squash, so zucchini, yellow squash, that type of situation. And then down here I did some more bush beans in this little area right here. So that's kind of how I direct sow in the garden. There's not really any sort of rhyme or reason to it. It's just how I feel like doing it. I did change things up this year. Nothing is really where it was last year, which is, I don't really think it matters in the home garden. But it's just different, it's fun. So we are everything is officially in the garden, planted, including seeds. So that's very exciting. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for joining me today on our little direct seeding adventure. So thank you so much for watching, and I will get out of the sun. I will see you in the next one.